to State of the Market. We are going live with Mark in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, and my friends across the pond. Welcome to State of the Market. I am Mark Sebastian. I am your only option. I also am the founder, CEO of Option Pit. We got a lot to run down on the show. Today, we're going to be starting off looking at bank earnings. Then we're going to talk about the SEC pattern day trading rule being changed. This is a big deal. I'm going to bring in Vaz, our own Olivia Voznenko, the Vaz, to come in and talk about that with me. Then we'll close the show looking at what I think is going to be the most important earnings this week, Taiwan Semiconductor, and then we'll have ourselves a fine little show. So as we open the show, the S&P 500 is up about 10. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is down about 140. And you can see the triple Q is up about, call it 0.3%, a quarter of a percent, somewhere in that range. We had VIX expiration this morning, so there may be a little bit of funkiness here for the next few minutes. VIX is currently trading 1764. Looking at VIX, the last time VIX was in the 17s was back in February before all of this happened. So we have now given away, leading into the conflict and out of the conflict. VIX is now back where it was, early on in February. Markets, same story, right? SPX, we are a hop, skip, and a jump away from a new all-time high close. I believe the all-time high close was 69.78, 69.78.60. All-time high touch, 7,002. So if we closed here today, this would be a new all-time high for the S&P 500. All right. Keep that in mind, and I think that's going to shape kind of our trading here over the next few days, that we're sitting at these all-time highs. Looking at the banks, Morgan Stanley out with their earnings today. They beat bottom and top line. And Bank of America, same story, beat bottom and top. Both of them not making huge moves, but as it stands, earnings as a whole out of the mega cap banks, Goldman, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, and Citigroup, the 6 mega banks we have here in the United States, all came in really strong. Following up on JP Morgan from yesterday, it is kind of holding in place, holding this 100. It kind of looks like it might be bull flagging, but I'd love to I like this one higher. Citigroup, after touching a new all-time high yesterday, continuing to go. Folks, one of the common mistakes retail traders make, and really professional traders like myself, is when a stock hits a new all-time high, at some point that all-time high will stand. But a lot of times there's several new all-time highs to follow when a stock hits a new all-time high. That is often the case. Fargo was the one stinker and continues its trip lower. The funny thing is with Wells Fargo is 20 years ago, if you'd asked a trader what the best run bank was, we would all said Wells Fargo. And now it is quite literally the worst run bank. And then following up, Goldman back above 900, down a touch today, but it responded well to earnings. So by and large so far, with just the mega banks and Delta out of the way, earnings have looked all right. Earnings have looked all right. Now let's talk about the big news that hit yesterday. And this is a change to pattern day trading rules. The previous rule was if you had $25,000 in your account, in a margin account, you could do whatever you want. If you had less than $25,000 in your account, then you could only do 3 trades, 3 round trips a week. A round trip is a day trade. That rule is old, it is antiquated, and it needed to go. Now, the minimum account is, I believe, $2,000. But it's not as simple as that. What they're going to be looking for is how much margin are you using up and down? Are you going through a lot of margin throughout the day to creating a lot of round trips? That's what's going to trigger the pattern day trade rule. There's a lot more around this to come, but and there's a lot more to this story, right? For one, FINRA hasn't released its final rule, right? The SEC approved it. FINRA has to release its final rule probably next week. Then there's a 45-day waiting period before it comes into effect. That's a comment period. Then it goes into effect. Then your brokers have to adapt to this new rule. It's not like they're going to wake up one day and say, voila, day trading rules are now 2000 and we'll be able to make. They have to implement this margin tracking into their systems. They already have it, really, they do, but they're going to have to implement it across all their systems. So brokers will likely come on one at a time. But for you, what this means is you're not going to have to worry about getting in and out of a trade from Option Pit or trade to close or game plan or 0DTE or whatever and get dinged on pattern day trader rules. Unless you're doing a bunch of other stuff in the background that isn't coming from Vaz or myself or Alicia. So this is going to be big. Now, the other piece is this is going to push traders even further away from using the stock. Right? Consider the margin associated with buying a call in Apple to day trade. Right? Apple has options expiring today. I think it's going to 260. I can spend $60, turn it into 120 and sell it. Right? That's $60 of margin that I used. If I do the same thing with the stock and I do 100 shares, how much margin is that tying up? Right. You're going to need a lot more money in those accounts. So this is going to really, really work to the benefit of option traders like you. And that's why I'm so excited. But the only person who might be more excited than me is our own Olivia Vaz, founder and CEO of TradeToClose.com, the master behind the game plan. I know for a fact that she planked for a full 3 minutes because she was so excited about this new pattern day trade rule. So let's bring her on to talk about it and then look at the markets. Vaz, how are you? Good morning. I know that you are just giddy about this new rule.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited because, obviously 0DTE day trading has this, I don't know, it has this, people have beef. The traders in the ether have beef with 0DTE. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? This is a money maker. As a matter of fact, if I have any super gamers in the chat here, we just made bank on the Qs. And it's very interesting because SPY didn't trigger, but the QQQ, as we are beta testing with our super gamers, we just made some money on that while we watch SPY kind of hit these all-time highs. QQQ still has some ways to move. And that just shows that there are going to be, it's not just the S&P 500 that you can trade this. It's the NASDAQ. You're going to have a lot of 0DTE options coming to us. So while we while we have been doing this for a long time and we are excited for all of these stocks to trade in our bouquet of opportunities, now this pattern day trade rule being lowered, which it should be, I think that was just ridiculous to start with in the first place. Not only going to have more stocks to play, we're going to get more players to play. Like, hello, liquidity.
Well, I'm just excited to see that, in 3 months or so, we won't have to see, hey, I'm out of day trades this week. And that's going to allow our gamers to take advantage of the game plan every single day instead of 3 times a week if you don't have 25 grand in your account. Those extra days a week, guess what that's going to do? That's going to help you grow that account to $25,000 like that, because you'll be able to participate in every single game plan trade, every single zero GTE trade that we do, Project M&S. This is going to, I think, have a cascading effect for multiple people in this room, right? Are you as excited as me and Vaz? I know a lot of you have some real dough and you don't have to worry about this, but how many of you saw this rule and said to yourself, my gosh, this is what I've been waiting for? Yeah. See, everybody's like, yes, I'm so excited. Crazy Bird Robin says, ZooGE is probably going to comprise 70 to 75% of my trading volume now. That makes sense. Neil's excited. Healthy Lovestyle says, yes, indeed. I can see how many people are excited. Now, we have set up something through Game Plan for all of you that have yet to jump on board. I know sometimes people like to kick the tires before they, jump in the car. I think the Game Plan track record speaks to itself, but what we're doing is $99 for a week. And if you buy a week, you get a second week for free. So we're giving you 2 weeks to look at Game Plan for the price of one, $99. You can click the link in that the team is dropping in the chat room to sign up right now and take advantage of that, because that rule change hasn't been started yet, but you're going to want to have all your ducks in a row before this rule gets released and becomes codified, because once you're able to trade every day, you're going to want to know exactly what you're doing, how to do it, and how to take advantage of it. And that's why taking advantage of this $99 offer right now is, I think, so important, so that you can get yourself educated. And I'm telling you, once you try the $99 for the 2 weeks, you're not going anywhere. Game Plan is so simple and easy. Hop on board. All right. So Vaz, I'm sure you heard at the top of the show, if we closed here today, S&P 500, new all-time high. Pretty crazy, right? VIX is back to where it was in early February. Now, we've been talking about that there are other underlying things that could cause some fireworks here. Earnings season is so far pretty good. What are you seeing in the charts? Are we in what you like to call a blue sky breakout and the story has changed? Or is this the top end, or is this the part of the W before things really roll over? You've really been assisting our traders through this process, and I'd love to hear what you're seeing in the SPY chart today.
Yes, we have. Let's look at SPY. Mark, this is not a blue sky breakout. What we need to do is have a gap up above this mess. I want to see a gap up above this mess. And that gap up is not going to be on a run. So far, earnings is not giving us that gap up. I know that the banks are important, but I think that the real earnings that would create something like this is probably more tech related, right? Because the AI story and and that future kind of infrastructure is very, a lot of money has been put into that. So
Yes.
that better wow us. So that would be a blue sky breakout. Now I'm just, eyeballing this, but I'm looking at like 704. Now that doesn't mean we won't hit 700. Like let's say we hit here and that is technically an all-time high. We need to break there and hold, or we're going to roll right back down. I also want to point out something, and I know that, again, tech is going to be more important, but, looking at these earnings today, I don't like this reaction at all in Goldman Sachs. And the JP Morgan, who else was it? Goldman Sachs and who?
They've all JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo.
Bank
of America, Citigroup.
You should see a way more, a true bullish market would support these prices higher. So that's interesting to me. I'm not impressed. So that's just, a cautionary tale. I'm not overhyping this. I haven't, if the market is truly bullish, you'll see stocks report decent numbers and they'll just go crazy. And we're not seeing that yet. It could possibly be because, as we discussed, we're kind of still in this tangle here, even though this was extremely bullish. I mean, whoever bought down here and up is like a god.
They made a lot of money.
Oh my God. I mean, and smart. I mean, and what am I going to say? Like a gunslinger. But I want to see this. I want to see a takeover of this. Honestly, that's what I want.
Yeah, the one bank that I think looks really interesting is Citigroup. That's about that's the one bank that is actually kind of breaking out. What's funny is 20 years ago, if you asked me what is the worst run bank, I would have said Citigroup by a landslide. And what's the best? Wells Fargo by a landslide. And then you look at where they are now. Citigroup's making new all-time highs, and Wells Fargo is just absolute trash. It's really been interesting. So traders need to kind of keep an eye on basically where we are here. Can we break out of that big, you've got that big circle drawn? Can we break out of that mess, get really clear of it, and then we can maybe go on a run? Otherwise, we may be heading for another kind of rollover and more of this chop until we get some real news.
Yes, of course. I don't think, like I said, Iran was kind of the muse. That news was the muse. And it looks like we have a grip on that. And that's very interesting because as we put the pieces together, the sell-off was just triggered by Iran. This was kind of a mess already. So while Iran is on ice right now, right, I think we kind of have a grip on them, right? That we blockaded, whatever. Like I don't really know what else they can do at this point to like cause worry in the market. There are some things out there. I'm not going to say it can't happen, but most likely it won't. So now that's to the side. What we need to see is a sweep of very strong earnings. We need great economic data. And that is what's going to gap us up and continue going here. If that doesn't happen, it's not going to happen.
Yes.
That's it. I'm keeping it simple. Simple like Boz, game plan. Q just hit, guys. Woo! Super gamers in the house. Yeah,
Super gamers, baby. You have just cashed out. So Vaz, what are you? I know you need to run. What are you? What are you looking at for just today in terms of levels? Do you think we're going to kind of have an inside day, or is this going to be like yesterday where it just kind of continuously builds on itself, and the next thing you know, we're up 40, 50, $60?
SPY, the high of the day in SPY is around 696.28. Breaking that. Hold on one second. And I'm just winging it here. Breaking that, we will see 697.30. So I'm looking for like another point. And anything above that is none of my business.
All right. 6.9. So if we get over that 697.28, is that what you said? The high of the day, we're going to be heading to 697.30, and then all bets are off when we get up there.
Yeah, Mom.
Vaz, once again, everybody appreciates what you've done in Game Plan and how awesome it is. And for those that still haven't gotten on board, we've got that $99 for 2 weeks. So you buy a week, you get a second week free for $99. That's open for today. That ends, I believe, today. So if you don't get in now, that ship is sailing. Vaz hates discounting Game Plan because it's so awesome, but she also understands that she wants to help as many people as she can. So she bites her tongue and says, "Okay, let's make this inexpensive and help people." I kind of feel the exact same way. So take this opportunity of her graciousness to really get more of you into the Game Plan room, the Game Plan group, and that awesome trading. And really, in about 3 months, you're going to be able to trade every single one, no matter how much money you have. So this is the time to jump in. That link is being dropped in chat if you haven't joined yet. Vaz, I know you need to go. Any last thoughts before I say goodbye?
No, there's a lot of good stuff going on this week. I am going to jump, but Leisha got some stuff cooking too. So, Mark, I'll leave you with telling the group about trading with Leisha, and I'm going to get out of here. And also, if you're joining Game Plan, I'll see you guys there. There's so much content. There's so much trading. I'm really excited, guys. Let's get it going. All right. Bye, guys. I'm out.
Absolutely.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
There you have it. Olivia Vaz. Okay. So you've now seen kind of what Vaz's levels are for SPY in the day. We are starting to make some new highs here. I wonder if the S&P is sniffing out the SPX, the big cash index. I'm wondering if it's sniffing out 7,000. We've touched it once, and I'm wondering whether we're going to touch it again. That would be another $13 higher. That would put us about at Vaz's level. So the two of them do kind of correspond to each other in terms of there. We get over 7,000, we really bust out of that. Then we've got a different animal on our hands. The last thing I wanted to cover today, and Vaz alluded to this, is earnings. Now, the bank earnings are out, but as she stated, it's really tech. And I think the most important earnings this week is not any of the banks. It is Taiwan Semiconductor. Taiwan Semiconductor fabricates 80% of the AI chips out there, some ridiculous amount. If you watch the breakout that we've seen in Intel over the last few weeks, this has been on the back of their fabrication deals, along with what they're doing on the chip side. So TSM, they report earnings tomorrow morning. And I believe this is a big one. Normally, we're looking for about a 3.87% move. Right now, they're pricing at about 3.74. So about normal is what markets are pricing in for movement. So we'd be talking $14 up or down. I think on the upside, $14 is probably fair. What I would be worried about with this one, and this would really be something that could set the tone for the market. If they come in and miss or guide poorly, it is going to be a real problem. And I mean a real problem for the tech business. We don't have NVIDIA for another several weeks. Now we got Google coming up and Apple and Microsoft and all of them. Intel But when you consider how much they make in terms of AI infrastructure, the chip infrastructure, and how they've been just kind of crushing earnings. If you focus in here, last quarter, the market was looking for 259. They reported 292, 229, 247. Since January of 2000, or we'll say April of 2024, almost exactly 2 years ago, this stock has gone from $139 to 3.8. From a size perspective, it is now $1.7 trillion. Where does that put that in the order of things? This is an international stock. Well, it's bigger than Tesla. It's about the same size as Broadcom. It's the same size as Meta. Right? How many people here knew that Taiwan Semiconductor was that big? It's the ultra mega cap, the ultra cap that really nobody really talks about. Maybe it's a little boring. But how many people type in a 1 if you did not know Taiwan Semiconductor was that big? But yeah, it is huge. And when you consider what they do for the industry, this is one that could absolutely shape the rest of the week. Right? This is one that could absolutely shape the rest of the week. It does have geopolitical risk as well. I do not believe that we're within a year of any real rumbling of China invading TSM, invading Taiwan. And frankly, I'm not sure that's going to happen. But when you consider that the stock is within its all-time high close is 387.73. We're $8 away from its all-time high. And this is basically the power plant for AI, because you can't run chips without Taiwan Semiconductor. You can't make them. So this is the one that I want you guys watching. And what's going to be fun is they're going to report tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday. There's going to be big movement. Friday is options expiration. One of the things I love about Project M&S is on Fridays we get this whole second wave of names, right? There are 0DTE in 9 names on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays right now. Eventually, that'll be Tuesday and Thursday as well. I would imagine in the next few weeks that'll get announced. But on Fridays, we can trade just about any stock in the market that has weeklies. And I can tell you this, Thursday during our Project M&S session, Leisha and I are going to be taking a hard look at the TSM reaction and then how that flow, all right, how that waterfalls into Google, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, AMD, Intel, Broadcom, Tesla. It's not just TSM. TSM's reporting is going to have a splash effect on every single other ultra cap. And those are the names that Leisha and I are trading in Project M&S every single day. Now, starting today at 2 p.m., Leisha and I are hosting an open house. We're going to teach you just about everything you need to know about 0 and 1 DTE trading and how it can change your approach and make you some real dollars. So If you haven't signed up, the link is pinned into the chat above us. Steven, our customer liaison, he dropped that in there and pinned it. All right. So click that link and join us. We would love to see you. It's zero cost. You have nothing to risk and everything to learn. Click that link and join us right now. All right, guys. It is 10:31, so I'm a minute past schedule. We'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern time to dig into react to Taiwan Semiconductor earnings, follow up on these bank earnings, and much, much more. So make sure to come and join us tomorrow at 10 a.m. as we're here live every day. The market is open at 10. All right. So for Olivia Voznenko, your Pharaoh of the Fibonacci, I am Mark Sebastian. I am your only option. This was State of the Market. Thank you for being here. And thank you, Amin. Have a great trading day.